Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Let me turn the volume up. Okay.
Sorry, let me plug in my. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
And you
I wish I
say
would
you
have got
look
interviewed
am-
yesterday. I was cute yesterday, but
You look cute now.
thank you.
You're welcome. Are you having a good day?
I am tired, but it's okay.
Oh, okay. Get the audio going. All right. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I wanted to know first off, when did you realize your gift and talent in styling?
I noticed when I was in high school, I styled my principal and like my teachers and anyone who could like give me a couple $100 to put their outfits together. So I pretty much knew a long time ago. I actually went to college for fashion marketing. This was before styling was big. So like, I got accepted to UNC, but Carolina didn't have a fashion program. So I decided to follow my dreams and go for fashion marketing at Art Institute of Charlotte. And that was about 18, 16 years ago.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And so you've been styling for, I guess, a little over 14 years now, a
Yeah.
long time in the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
And you began as an assistant to Miss June. How do you pronounce her last name?
Ambrose. Yep.
Ambrose. How did you get that position as assisting her in New York?
Well, I started off with assisting Misa Hilton Brown.
Oh,
Misa Hilton, I moved to New York. I landed, and there was another stylist called Mike B. Mike B. My first job was actually Nas and Khalees. I assisted Nas and Khalees. That was my first ever styling job. Crazy, right? I've been so blessed. Um, a guy named Mike B. Mike B had a lot of assistants, so he was like, I'm gonna send you over to Misa Hilton. And so at first I'm like, well, dang, does he not want to work with me? I was kind of like depressed about it or whatever. So I was like, okay, if she calls, she calls. And, she doesn't. She actually called me. And I started working with Misa. Misa actually opened my doors onto entertainers and things like that. Then I saw the opportunity maybe like 2 months after that to work with June. Uh, and this is when Neo first came out. And that was like, a big key moment. And I said, okay, let me go, over here with June. And I did. And yeah, it was cool. June was amazing. She's all business, no play. So it was a lot of work. I definitely put in hours and hours for a long time, probably almost 2 years, of being assistant and not getting paid. So it was a big sacrifice, especially living in New York City. So, my
very
pay definitely,
expensive.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. And it happened so soon. So working for a few months with Miss Nisa and then you started working with Miss June.
Yes, literally
How
touchdown
that's
in that
crazy.
first
How did you feel when like all that was happening so quickly? Was it overwhelming or
I was just like, oh my God, like I just felt so blessed, and I was like, wow, like, New York really is the city of dreams. Like, who would have thought a small girl from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, then I moved to Durham, North Carolina, and I went to, college in Charlotte. I'm going to move to New York. Let's see if I make it. And 3 days later, I'm in Nas and Khalees's living room. Like, it was just like, this is, I was just like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah.
and how did you like conserve your nerves with that big first job working with Nas and Khalees?
Well, my nerves
A
wasn't
little,
really.
can you talk a little louder, please?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
A little louder?
Okay, let me turn the volume up. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. My nerves was not Nas and Khalees. My nerves was basically doing the right thing for Mike B, who was my boss at the time. So I was more so scared of like doing my job and making sure I'm doing correctly more so than them, you know, because they were not my boss. My boss was the stylist and I was assisting. So I was more so worried about, you know, that part. I've never been a type to, I've never been like starstruck or anything. So I think that is easy for me because I've never been around, I lied. I have been around someone and I was like, oh my God, which is Beyonce. But other than that, I've never, you know, I don't have a feeling. No. Mm-mm.
Rightfully so. When Beyonce comes around, you definitely notice.
Correct.
All right, so can you kind of explain your creative process? So you get an assignment and someone needs styling, obviously. So how do you come up with like the color scheme, the theme? How do you kind of start forming the
Um,
vision?
so the first thing I do is what type of event it is. And what, you know, what's the theme of the event, and then we work off a budget, and then I work with, you know, my seamstress and put together a look, send over looks like, do you like this, do you like this, what type of creative process would you like, and then I just go from there.
Okay, all righty. And one of your Instagram pictures, I love. I love the caption. Not that you're not beautiful in it, you're gorgeous, but the caption really touched me, and it was the one you posted on March 1st, stating that you were feeling bad for feeling blessed.
Yes.
So can you kind of explain that moment or that like that feeling? What do you mean by that? Feeling bad for being blessed?
Um, you know, I've been so blessed. You know, I, you know, was married to a professional athlete. So I was in a realm of, you know, different people. I, you know, my parents coming from two pastors. I've always had privilege, and I just like used to be embarrassed of it and kind of, you know, just felt bad about my situation, and I thought people wouldn't respect it, so I was very like low key, which I still am. Pretty much the events is the only thing that people see what's going on. Otherwise, I do everything. I'm just like really like laid back and low key because, you know, being a woman, it's very hard in business to be respected and valued. And so that caption basically meant like, you know, you need to be proud of your accomplishment. I've been very blessed in life, and I've, you know, God has blessed me with so many opportunities, and I need to, you know, be more thankful and showing of His blessings. And I, you know, that's, I have a problem with that.
I understand. I understand. And what's one of the fears you've had to overcome during your entrepreneurial journey?
um, I don't know if I've ever had a fear. Like I've anything I've wanted, I went after, and I, you know, I just would get it done. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't have any fears. The only thing that, you know, for me is the biggest thing is like respect. I think that's just like one of the biggest things that goes such a long way. So I've tried to, you know, put myself in position where as long as my respect and my name is correct, then I'll always have business.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, also with that really touching post, you stated that your journey left you with no choice but to grind and live unapologetically, which I
Yes.
love.
Mm-hmm.
What advice do you have for people who are trying to balance life and as well as live life? What's your advice for people?
I would say a schedule. Like I literally like I'm probably like I work, I'm a night owl sometimes, so I might work through the night or whatever. But there's week might delay and be not up, and then 1 week I'm like grind mode. Okay, what I gotta do, like, you know. So I think schedule is everything. You know, like I think having a schedule and balancing your life out, and, you know, figuring out what you need to do and having people in place as well to help you get those things done. I think, especially as an entrepreneur, once you get into a certain spot of where you want to be, you can have people in place to get things done for you. You know what I mean? And just like oversee it. So I just think like having a schedule and just going for it and going for your goals, it just all balances out.
And what, I know you have a little boy, two little boys?
Two little boys, yeah.
Oh my goodness, two kids. I have one. I don't know how you do it with two.
And girl, they are something else, okay?
One second, let me close this door.
Okay.
How do you balance mommy life? Like, I know that mom guilt kind of, I know it sets in with me. I don't know if it sets in with you, but how do you balance work with mommy life?
Um, my kids is always they first and everything. So it's like I do everything that's around their schedule. Like I figure out what they got to do. What do I have to do for my kids, and then I balance everything around that. So they're like first in everything. I don't believe in nannies and things like that. Even when I was like on the road styling, I breastfed. My kids came with me so I could feed them. And I'm on set. Like I've been on set. I've been on movie sets. I've been on video sets with my kids, breastfeeding and working. So I
Wow.
really put in a lot of time for years and years and years. Like, so I mean, just my kids are everything to me. So, like, I never want to put that responsibility off on no one else. Being pastor, I think put that in perspective for me because my parents put a lot of time into other people, and people at church and things like that. And, I think I kind of resented, because I felt like, wait, dang, you love the church more than you love me. So I just felt like, okay, I don't want my kids to feel like anything came before them, no matter what. For my parents, it's God. That's God's calling. So, they get an excuse. For me, that I don't have an excuse on anything coming before my kids, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and then also too, I'm in such a blessed situation where some people do have to have babysitters and nannies because they just need it to survive. So I don't knock that either because some people don't have a choice because they have to, put so much work in, so they have to have babysitters, they have to drop their kids off and things like that. So I'm just so blessed that I don't have to do that, and I can work on my own schedule, on my own time, and still make it. So it's just such a blessing. So I commend any mother that is working and taking care of their children because it's just such a hard job. And I think that it's just one of the most out of everything that God has ever blessed me with, those are definitely my number ones.
Aw, it
Yeah.
definitely is hard. It gets to me sometimes. I'm a preacher's kid, so I understand that sort of resentment and just that kind of disconnect
Mm,
emotionally as far as time and personal time is concerned with parents growing up. So I
yeah.
definitely connect with you on that level.
Yes.
It is hard balancing the schedule with the little one. And two, oh my goodness.
And they're in sports, and it's just like, ooh, So, how old is your baby?
My baby is 4. She's 4.
Oh, okay, little girl. That's sweet.
Yeah, first and last. It hurts. So no more.
You'll have another one.
It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, definitely that too. Yeah, my second one was easy, easy peasy. My first one, oh my god, yeah, I could have
That's
died.
what they say. They say it gets better
It
the
does.
next. I won't know, but that's what they say. If you wouldn't mind, could you kind of explain, like, while in your styling career, one of your lowest points and how you kind of balance dealing with it with your work schedule and everything?
One of my lowest points would definitely have to be like the movies. Being working when I was interning, working 14, 15 hours, and basically like I never wanted to ask my parents for nothing, and like so that was for me it was a lot because I'm like I see where God can take me, and I'm around all these stars. I'm like, okay, this can be me, you know what I mean? I'm working 14, 15 hours and I'm paying $4,000, a month, at 20 years old, like, and it's like, oh my God, and I'm interning, and I'm like, is this for me? Because I didn't want to step out on my own yet, and so it was just very, very scary and just hard, and asking my parents, can you pay my rent? Like, I just felt really, that was the worst. So that definitely was my lowest moment, like not having nothing, and asking my parents to give it to me because I'm just very, very independent. So, that was just very hard for me because I wanted to
Yeah.
pay it alone. Like, I don't want to ask, like, you know what I mean? So that was hard. But that was literally like in the beginning of my career, and literally it just blew up right after that. So
Right. That's the key then. You just have to stick through those growing pains and it'll pay off
yep,
then.
you do, and it's like you literally can be like so low, and I made $1 million by the time I was 21. You know what I'm saying? And I literally was asking my parents to pay my rent 2 years before that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a blessing.
Wow.
Hmm.
Was it hard in the beginning for your family to accept like the kind of non-traditional route of styling? Like, did they see it as a real profession?
No. Mm-mm. When I told them I was not going to the college they wanted me to go to, I was going to art school for fashion. They're like, what? Back then, now fashion is huge. Fashion, everybody's going to school for fashion marketing. Everybody's a stylist. Everybody's into beauty. Everybody does makeup. That world is huge now. Back then, when I did it, it wasn't hit. It wasn't big. So when I said that, they're looking at me like, "You're gonna do what?" Like, I come from a very great family. Everybody has like careers, and I'm about to go dress somebody. Like, okay, no. So no, they wasn't feeling it at all. Like, even like they're like this, like the school was small. They like made fun of me. Like it was, I had to literally see my vision and like take out like, of me not going where everyone saw for me. I literally had to take a moment and ask God, is this what you have for me? God, show me my footsteps, put me in my right direction because I know what, everyone else is saying, but I know what you have for me and I know the
Yeah.
call you have on my life. So, who do I go with? And just God told me just, go right. And I did. And so I'm just glad I did. But yeah, it was very hard because that was not, something that anybody wanted to do back then because it just wasn't big. And so to do that and then to leave Charlotte, North Carolina, go to New York City and intern with the biggest stylist in the world in 3 days, like that was just God, like really like I don't know, I just been so blessed. Like it was just amazing.
That's a remarkable story. It,
Yeah.
it is. It is. Thank you for sharing it with me. I do kind of want to wrap up with some Met Gala talk. So, what did you
Okay.
think of the theme and the outfits?
I love the theme, obviously, the church theme, even though it was Catholic, we still gonna give them a little something, something. I love the theme. I think that Rihanna, of course, shut it down. She was best dressed by far. Um, I also loved Kim Kardashian. She bodied it, of course. I think there was a lot of like fly looks. J Lo looked bomb. I hated Nicki Minaj. I hated it. Like I hated it. She
I'm
looked
glad it
amazing,
wasn't
and I
just
love
me.
her. And I wanted her to like kill it because I'm like everyone's kind of like against her right now, and I'm like, no, I want you to kill it, but she just definitely didn't kill it. I was like, ugh. Cardi B got bomb, and I was so mad because I wanted Nicki to look better than Cardi B, but
Yeah, it was nice. I like the theme too. The outfits were cute. So the outfits go to a museum. Am I correct? Like the
Well,
outfits at
no,
the
Rihanna got her outfit from the museum. So what happens
oh
with the Met Gala is every year they have a theme. So the theme is always either religion based or just like last year was avant garde, like crazy. It's just all things like that. What happens is like basically what Vogue does is in a one tour, if it's like a monumental outfit, then they save it and collect it, and then So Rihanna's outfit was probably made like 20 years ago or something like that. I don't know, but it's just something that they inspirations that they build on and things like that. So yeah, some people get their outfit, but some people absolutely get it made for the Met Gala. Most
uh,
of it was designed for Met Gala. Rihanna's outfit was the one that came from the museum.
okay. Okay. Thank you for breaking that down. I did not
Yeah.
know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh-huh.
I appreciate your time and thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for talking to me and for rescheduling. I really appreciate it. I know you're busy.
Yeah,
So,
thank you so much for, dealing with me, because I know I told you I'll do it like 10 times, so a million different times. But thank you so much, and I appreciate you having me. And then email me all the details and stuff.
okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you. Have
bye.
a good day. Bye.